Hello, everybody. This is Hollywood Joe with Hollywood's World of Sports again, coming to you with my presentation of the road to WrestleMania 28. This week is week one on the road to WrestleMania 28, and as we all know, the week started last Sunday with Sheamus winning the 2012 Royal Rumble. Monday was a very eventful night in the WWE. We had two build-ups to starting for two big matches at WrestleMania 28. The first build-up was for the Chris Jericho and CM Punk match, which has been heavily rumored at WrestleMania 28, and that started with Chris Jericho coming out and attacking CM Punk during his match with Daniel Bryan on Monday Night Raw. It was a champion versus champion match, no titles on the line. It was the first time ever that those two have competed against each other as world champions. And I must say, I believe it was the match of the week between both shows, with Randy Orton and Wade Barrett coming in a close second. Jericho was rumored to was supposed to be the winner of the 2012 Royal Rumble, at least that's what the internet was reporting, but WWE obviously was getting tired of the leaks of the storylines and threw a little curveball in there for us. But I want to talk about Chris Jericho and CM Punk for a minute. A lot of people obviously are aware that WrestleMania 28 is going to be heavily based around The Rock and John Cena. And I look at it this way: WrestleMania 28 is going to be a lot like WrestleMania 3 back in the 80s. WrestleMania 3 was headlined by Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan. That was the main attraction. Just like John Cena and The Rock is the main attraction for WrestleMania 28. However, I think that CM Punk and Chris Jericho are going to have a type of match that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage had at WrestleMania 3, and I believe Punk and Jericho are going to steal the show. This is the first time that they've ever have really had a feud or will ever go one-on-one in a major storyline, and I think it's kind of funny because I think it all stems from CM Punk calling himself the best in the world, because when Jericho, when he was in his prime as a heel a couple years ago, he called himself the best in the world. So I really think it's going to be, an argument of who the best in the world is. So that was the first slow build up to a match at WrestleMania 28. Now, the second build up was when Triple H was about ready to fire John Laurinaitis from his interim general manager Raw spot. And right before he uttered the words, "You're fired," the gong hit. And as soon as the gong hit, we all knew it was the Undertaker. And it's been heavily rumored for quite some time now that there was going to be a Triple H versus Undertaker match again at WrestleMania 28. As for my feelings on this match, if it happens, I really, not to burst anybody's bubble that really enjoyed WrestleMania 27, but I don't think this match needs to happen again. I think The Undertaker, if this is truly his last match, needs to go one-on-one with Kane, because Kane is back to, being old school Kane with a mask. And the other thing is Kane's been more of a part of The Undertaker's career than any other character in the WWE, with maybe the exception of Mankind. So, and the thing of it is a lot of people thought that WrestleMania 27 match was really great. A lot of people seem to forget about WrestleMania 17 when Undertaker was doing the American Badass gimmick. I really think that if you go back and watch WrestleMania 17 like I did earlier this week and watch that match, I think you'll find out that their match at WrestleMania 17 was about 10 times better than the match they had last year at WrestleMania 27. However, I will add that if this match does take place, it doesn't need to be an ordinary one-on-one match. It doesn't just need to be a no DQ, no countout match like this year. I say if Undertaker and Triple H are going to go at it one more time, it needs to be in Hell in a Cell. And the reason I say this is because both Undertaker and Triple H have been heralded as the masters of the Hell in a Cell. And both of them have been in more Hell in a Cell matches than anybody in the WWE. And I both believe, both of them have made their careers legend off Hell in a Cell. Triple H by, beating up Chris Jericho and, the DX versus McMahon's, and obviously the Undertaker's famous for throwing Mick Foley off the cell and through the cell. So I'm suggesting that if we're seeing Undertaker versus Triple H round 3, it needs to be inside the Hell in a Cell. Somebody also suggested that it should be a buried alive or casket match, but those are Undertaker specialties. They need to have a match where it's both their specialty. So those are my thoughts on that thus far. As most of you know, the Elimination Chamber matches were set for Raw and SmackDown. Monday Night Raw is going to feature champion CM Punk, Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, The Miz, and R-Truth. And I can tell you right now, Kofi Kingston is somebody you're probably going to want to pay attention to the next 2 months, because after his crazy performance at the Royal Rumble with his handstand walk, I think he's going to get really, really pushed hard now that John Morrison and Evan Bourne are pretty much no longer with the company. R-Truth, I would definitely keep an eye on Mr. R-Truth. Him and little Jimmy will have something to say about WrestleMania 28 for sure. On the SmackDown side of things, the SmackDown Elimination Chamber will be Daniel Bryan, Mark Henry, or not Mark Henry, Great Khali, who replaced Mark Henry, The Big Show, Cody Rhodes, Wade Barrett, Randy Orton, and I believe Daniel Bryan. I don't know how he's going to pull it off. I really enjoy what Daniel Bryan's doing as a heel. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are booing him, but I think it's great. I think it's great for the business. So we'll have to see what happens. The other big news I had heard this week, I read it on the internet. Obviously, I read a lot of internet reports to, kind of see if they're right or they're wrong. But the other report I read is that they are indeed bringing Money in the Bank back at WrestleMania this year. The theme for WrestleMania's Money in the Bank, though, I heard was going to be all former world champions, and all former world champions Money in the Bank. And that would include guys like Alberto Del Rio, Jack Swagger, Kane, just Christian, guys like that. So it'd be really interesting to see just if that takes place or not. I personally think for the SmackDown main event at WrestleMania 28, the heavyweight title, obviously a lot of people are figuring on Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, but I really think they should turn it into a fatal 4-way match by adding Wade Barrett and Randy Orton to the match. Barrett and Orton are too big of superstars not to be in a big time match right now. I think putting Orton in the Money in the Bank ladder match does less for his career and not more for it. So that's just my opinion. I don't know which route they're going to go for the World Heavyweight title, because having Sheamus win the Royal Rumble kind of threw things off a little bit. So that's basically what's going on right now. Just also like to add that the Hall of Fame inductee for the week was revealed, and it's going to be Iron Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. going into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. A lot of people are shaking their heads and don't necessarily agree with the decision. But Mike Tyson was an influential part of helping WWE get back to the top again in 1998. As most of you know, he came in at the 1998 Royal Rumble sitting in a skybox watching Stone Cold Steve Austin win the Royal Rumble. I think that he had a huge presence in helping the Stone Cold Shawn Michaels match because, as a lot of people know, Shawn was severely injured at the time and, was having a hard time carrying the story with Stone Cold. So, Mike Tyson's presence in the WWE for that 3 months in 1998 was huge. It brought a lot of media attention to WWE. They were featured on almost every news outlet in the world. So, Mike Tyson does need to get some credit for helping WWE get back to the top in the late 90s. He also has appeared a couple times on Monday Night Raw as a special guest host or special general manager when they were doing that. And he had a good following then too. So I think it's great that Mike Tyson is in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. He is one that belongs there. There's a couple of them that I really don't think belong there. Drew Carey, I'm not going to mention every name, but Drew Carey is the one that sticks out for me that doesn't belong in the WWE Hall of Fame. So that's really the news for the week as far as WrestleMania is concerned. You got the two, like I said, you got the two slow build-ups for Punk and Jericho and Triple H and Taker. You have the two not the Money in the Bank, but the two Elimination Chamber matches set. So, road to WrestleMania week 1 was pretty productive for the WWE. And if I didn't mention it, Sheamus has made his decision or said he was going to make his decision the following night on Raw after the Elimination Chamber. So I would stay tuned for that. Elimination Chamber is 2 weeks away. I'm sure there'll be a lot of things happening before then, and certainly a lot of things will be happening afterwards. So stay tuned. Same Hollywood time, same Hollywood channel next week for week 2 on the road to WrestleMania 28. Thanks guys, and have a great week.